Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut.
It is the Centennial, the 100th birthday of Indy's own Kurt Vonnegut. Sadly, he is not here to celebrate with us. I don't know what it would be like if Kurt Vonnegut were actually here to celebrate his 100th birthday. I know he had a great age joke when he talked about his smoking that we might get into here in a little bit with Julia Whitehead. She is the founder and CEO of the Kurt Vonnegut Memorial Library and Museum, and Chris Cecil, who is the chair of the big Centennial event. It's happening November 3rd through the 12th. Several events happening over those days. And Chris also, we couldn't get him to dress up today. He didn't want to shave the beard. He's also going to be dressing up like Mr. Vonnegut for part of the celebration. We'll get into that in just a second. Imagine a centennial, Julia. This has been in the works. This has been in the planning stages for quite some time.
Yes, a couple of years. We were fortunate to have Chris Cecil taking the lead on all of this planning. So many people in the community, locally and nationally, have helped to put this together, and we have multiple days of wonderful activities for our local and national community.
Now, not that people should not visit the museum and library to begin with, even outside the anniversary celebration. That has been a big deal to make that happen, particularly the last few years.
Yes, and on November 11th, that's his actual 100th Veterans Day. That's a big free day at the museum, so we hope people will go to 543 Indiana Avenue. You can learn more at VonnegutLibrary.org, but we have events all day long, including the Vietnam veteran Tim O'Brien, award-winning writer. He'll kick off the events at 11 a.m. on the 11th, and then we have VonneCon and people coming in from all over the country with their tattoos and their first edition books and their photos with Vonnegut, and we have a musical performance that evening. I can go on and on about all the things we're doing.
I'm sure you could, but I mean, why is Kurt Vonnegut so significant? Because he was, like a lot of writers, not an overnight success. Well, at least success as we would define success. He wrote for a very long time before he became Kurt Vonnegut that we all know and love.
Yes, so I actually wrote a book.
Yes, you did.
Breaking Down Vonnegut. That just came out this year, but in that book I go through his life story and the reasons why we study Vonnegut, but the fact that he grew up in Indianapolis and then he had this horrific war experience where he was captured by the Nazis, tortured by the Nazis. He wrote about that in his book Slaughterhouse-Five, and he wrote a number of other books that are famous worldwide. But the important thing about Vonnegut is that he teaches us how to be survivors. He came out of that experience as a very young man, but he was wise, and he also used humor to cope with all of the tragedies he encountered, and he went on to be a proponent of free speech and common decency.
Very much so, and you're going to have an event actually tied to your book on Thursday the 10th, correct?
Yes, that's right. I'll be heading to Indiana State University in Terre Haute, where there will be a free event for anyone to attend. So again, please go to VonnegutLibrary.org to sign up for that. One of Vonnegut's short stories was about two Holocaust survivors. We, in partnership with the JCC and Katz Festival of Books and Congregation Beth-El Zedeck, are bringing in a writer named Dara Horn, who will be talking about anti-Semitism. That is November 3rd at Beth-El Zedeck. Again, an event for the entire community. And then on our final day of VonnegutFest, which is November 12th, again a free day in the museum, that night we have our largest gala we've ever featured, and that will be at the Lucas family estate, and Chris, as Kurt Vonnegut, will be greeted with a happy birthday from Marilyn Monroe, among other fun things that evening.
I'm sure Kurt would have loved that. Real life Kurt would have loved that. Now, Chris Cecil, we don't want to forget about Chris. In addition to portraying Kurt Vonnegut and chairing this centennial, he's also with Visit Indy. But what got you interested in Kurt Vonnegut in the first place?
Well, I'm born and raised here in Indianapolis, just like Kurt. And as a fellow son of Indianapolis, when Julia asked me to join the board, it was truly an honor for me to really help push the Vonnegut name forward, not only nationally, but especially here in Indianapolis. because that's, the city that I love.
So chairing this event, putting this together over the last couple of years, it must be really something now to finally, you're here, you're seeing it happen.
Yeah, it's certainly been quite a long few years. I also had the birth of my first son about 11 months ago. So
is he named Kurt?
Not named Kurt.
Doggone it.
I know, right? My wife wouldn't let me do that one. That was my first choice, but we landed on Cooper. But yeah, I mean, between everything that's been going on, we've had just a year-long celebration, really, with events every single month. We had, 4th of July events. We had a smaller gala fundraiser earlier this year, Kentucky Derby events, lots of veterans programs as well. So this is really just the culmination of really the whole year celebrating Kurt during his 100th birthday celebration.
I do have to ask, and maybe Jennifer can get a close-up of this pin here in just a second, the lapel pin that Chris is wearing, the Kurt Vonnegut face. Is that something that the rest of us can find at the museum by chance? Can we?
Definitely, yes.
All right.
We have an amazing museum store, tons of great Kurt gear, Vonnegut stuff, including the pins, so we can definitely get you hooked up with one.
Excellent. Now, you get to portray Kurt Vonnegut for part of the convention. Is this going to be at VonneCon? Is this going to be at the Centennial? Is it going to be both?
So VonnegCon is on Friday. That is his birthday.
Right.
So we will be singing "Happy Birthday" to Kurt on Friday, and so yeah, the beard will be coming off, and Kurt will be coming out. The curls come out as well. But yes, certainly the big celebration, the gala on Saturday night, is really where Kurt gets to shine.
Now, as I said, Chris works for Visit Indy, and he did not want to shave the beard and portray Kurt Vonnegut for us today because he still has a day job. I am close personal friends with Leonard Hoops, or at least that's what I tell myself. So come on, Leonard, you could let him get away from the beard for a couple of weeks. Anyway, but it starts November 3rd. Well, at least the first event is November 3rd. The big events are that weekend, Friday, November 11th, Saturday, November 12th. Julia, how do people get there? How do they find out more about it?
So go to VonnegutLibrary.org. Everything is there. But I want to mention something about Leonard Hoops.
Absolutely.
Leonard is actually the recipient of the Kurt Vonnegut Humor Award. So I don't know if you've heard his humor, his comedy, but
backstory, Leonard and I did a celebrity stand-up comedy event together many years ago. I was still at radio at the time. Celebrity, quote unquote, for some of us, more so than Leonard. Leonard is a funny guy.
He's a funny guy.
He is hilarious. Kurt Vonnegut Centennial, it is going to be a tremendous event. Go check it out. We'll have all the info, all the links at WRTV.com. Is there anything that we forgot to talk about? Because I would be remiss. I don't want Kurt to come back here like he showed up at Rodney Dangerfield's dorm and back to school.
And another thing, Vonnegut, I'm going to stop payment on a check. What's that? Me. Hey, Kurt, do you read lips? You.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you for talking about Kurt Vonnegut. And go check out all of the events of the Kurt Vonnegut Centennial. The info is at WRTV.com. What's up, Indy? If you like that video, please click the like button and leave me a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to my page, too. And if you want to hear more about another man who had a big impact on Indiana, click on that video right there and learn all about the fabulous Bob Ross.